তুমি একটু জানিয়ে দাও যে আমাদের প্রোগ্রাম শুরু হয়ে যাচ্ছে।
Okay, let me share my screen. So, good afternoon to you all. My name is Navneet Subba. I'm an assistant professor in the City College of Commerce, Calcutta, and I'm here to present my presentation regarding analysis of data of one-way or using one-way ANOVA. So, before I start with you all, my name is Navneet Subba. I'm an assistant professor in the City College. Hello? I'm being heard?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I think there's a slight latency. So, okay. So, what is ANOVA? Let us first understand. Okay, ANOVA stands for analysis of variance. It is a type of statistical test where we use to analyze the difference between the means of two or more groups. It is different from t-test in the sense that t-test measures the difference within the groups and ANOVA measures the difference between the groups. There are usually two types of ANOVAs. There is one-way ANOVA and there is two-way ANOVA. The difference is that in one-way ANOVA, we use only one independent variable. There will be many dependent variables. There will be three dependent usually variables and one independent variable. In case of two-way ANOVA, there are two independent variables. And when do we use one-way ANOVA? That is the question. Okay. So one-way ANOVA is we used when we have data that has one categorical independent variable, one quantitative dependent variable, and one independent variable that should have at least three levels, groups, or categories. So to give you a better understanding of this, let me give you some examples. Like, for example, it's given in the presentation. That is, say for example, the independent variable is, let's say, effect of soil type on some plant. Okay, let's say X. Then what do I do? How do I judge the effect of the this soil type? Then we assign different groups of, let's say, soil type 1, soil type 2, soil type 3 to find out if there is a difference in the yield quality of the plant. The other example is, let's say I take a brand of chips, and let's say, what is the difference if you have noticed, the chips having almost similar price ranges will have different weightages. So I have taken, like, let's say, the price of different chips. Here I've taken Lay's, Pran, and two Yum chips to find out the difference in prices done by one-way ANOVA. And how it does is, it just tells you if the dependent variables changes according to the level of independent variables. So let's see how ANOVA works.
Hello, one sec. Navneet.
Yes, sir.
I'm just guiding you. You go to this quantitative, whatever you have written. Go to the earlier side.
Yes, sir, this one.
You have written one quantitative dependent variable. It will be the one metric. The variable should be metric in nature.
Okay, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay.
So let's continuing in my presentation. How does ANOVA work? Okay, so the first thing is, what ANOVA does is it determines that whether the groups are created by levels of the independent variable are statistically different or not. How it does this? It does this by calculating whether the means of the treatment levels or the variables are different from the overall mean of the dependent variable. And if any group means is significantly different from the overall mean, then obviously the null hypothesis is rejected. It also uses the F-test for statistical significance to measure that if we are low or more or less than the significance level. So what it does is it allows for the comparison of multiple means at once. And because the error is calculated for the whole set of comparisons rather than for each individual two-way comparison, like I had told you about in the t-test, the F-test also compares the variance in each group mean from the overall group variance. And if the variance within the group is smaller than the variance between the group, then obviously the F-test will find a higher F value, and therefore there will be a higher likelihood that the difference observed is real and not due to chance. Now we come to assumptions of ANOVA. It has three main assumptions. First is there is interdependence of the observation. And then we have the data that is normally distributed, because we cannot have any other kind of distribution, like let's say binomial or Poisson distribution. And there should be homogeneity in terms of variance, like Sir had told in his presentation earlier. Now we come to the four main steps in conducting an ANOVA test. First, like in every test, we formulate a hypothesis. Then we set a significance level. Then we compute an F statistic. Then we use the F statistic to find the p-value, and then we compare the p-value and the significance level and decide whether to accept or reject the null hypothesis. So after seeing this, let me just show you a live presentation. This is my R software. Okay, so here we have analysis of the I'm doing on the analysis of effect of fertilizer. I'm just clean this. Analysis of effect of fertilizer on type of crop yield. So here we have taken on hypothesis as there is no effect of fertilizer type on the crop yield, and the alternative hypothesis as fertilizer type affects crop yield. The alpha or the significance level we have taken as 0.05.
Hello, Navneet, you have not changed the slide.
Oh, sir, that I'm showing the live, sir, because in the slide, I did not know how to get it in the slide. So I'm showing a live demo, sir.
Oh, you are showing, but that is not visible here. So then you have to stop the screen.
Yes,
and
sir.
after that you can share.
Okay, so once again I'm sharing, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you have to open your video.
So now is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay, sir. So now we are doing analysis of the effect of fertilizer type on crop yield. So I have taken the null hypothesis as no effect of fertilizer type on the crop yield, and alternative hypothesis as the fertilizer type does affect the crop yield. We have taken alpha as 0.05. Now let me just get the data for you. 1 second. Yes. So this function helps us get the data. That is, it tells us where our data is. Our data is in the C/user/981 in desktop. We'll just show you out here. So it is out here. This is the crop data. We'll just open it and show you. This is the crop data having the density, block, fertilizer, yield. Okay, so its location is here. So the location we can find in the properties, just given out here in the set working directory, which the set working directory function shows. So the get working directory. Now we set it out here. Okay, so let me just put it out here. Okay. Now what we are doing by the next function, that is this one, is I'm setting the name of the data as crop data, and since it is a CSV file, comma separated value file, I'm putting CSV, and the header is true, and the separation I put in as comma because it is a CSV file. So let me just put this out here. And now if I put crop data, it will automatically give me the data which was there earlier. As you can see out here, I'm getting the data which was here. So then that is this data. So I've got this. After this, now let me. Okay, I'll just show you how, since the data is very big, I'm just showing you different portions of it. If I do head of the crop data, it will give me the first, let's say 6, variables of this. Like for example, the first 6 is 1 to 6. It shows in the head, and in the, if I do the tail, it shows in the bottom 10. Now, like Sir had done in his presentation before yesterday. Okay, let me just see the structure of the data. So I take str function crop data, and we see the data frame. It has 96 observations of 4 different variables, and then the variables are density, block, fertilizer, and yield. So the data has been defined. Data frame has been defined. So let me go towards conducting one-way ANOVA. So one-way ANOVA, the formula is one dot way. Okay, where I put AOV. AOV is the main formula. Okay, so one dot way is I'm assigning the syntax, or not syntax, but the sentence one way, or the words one way to AOV. And what is the AOV? The AOV, I have seen relationship between the yield and the fertilizer. Okay, and different types of fertilizer. The data from the fertilizer we are finding through crop data. So let me just run this operation. As we can see, it is running the operation. Now we'll find the summary. So the summary, if you come down here, okay, the summary we have seen out here. Here the summary we have, okay, of the we have the DF, sum, SQ. Okay, so let me just explain. By DF we mean degrees of freedom, okay, for the independent variable. By sum SQ we mean the sum of squares between the group means and the overall mean. Okay, that is explained by that variable. The mean SQ means the mean of mean of sum of squares, which is found by dividing the sum of squares by degrees of freedom. And then we have the F value, okay, which shows the F statistics. And at last we have the this thing P value or PR is equals to F. So here, if we look at the main data, we see that our level of significance, which is out here, as you can see. Yeah, alpha was 0.05, and okay, the level of significance out here is lower than 0.05. Therefore, that means the alternative hypothesis holds. That is, there is an effect of fertilizer on crop yield. Oh, also my apologies for condensing my presentation because I thought there'd be a lot of time. So I'm just...
No, Navneet.
Yes, sir.
The major part is you have not mentioned the mean differences. You have shown only the F statistics, significant difference, but you have not shown. So please you write down, please you write box plot.
Oh, box plot also.
Because you have not shown your mean differences.
Yes, sir. So box plot. Box plots. I'm not. I'm not so confident in doing that, sir. So
You don't worry. You just write now.
Yes, sir.
BOX.
Yes, yes. Box plot.
Bracket.
Yes, yes.
What is your data name? Crop data. So crop data, dollar.
Yes, sir.
Dollar. What is your crop dot data?
Oh, yes, sir.
And you remove this dollar.
Yes, sir.
Now you put the dollar.
So here in the front,
crop data after that dollar sign.
yes, sir.
Write dollar.
So 1 second. Yes, sir.
Now you select yield.
Yes, sir.
You have selected density. Crop data, dollar, yield.
Yes, sir.
What is your dependent variable? Yield is dependent variable.
Yes, yes.
So you write yield. Then tilde.
Yes, sir.
Tilde.
I didn't understand, sir. Actually, my speaker is a bit. My speaker isn't working well. I can't hear it.
Above the tab, you will get the tilde. Tilde sign.
Hello.
Sir, in your keyboard, there's a tab key. Above the tab key, there's the tilde sign.
Ma'am, could you please write it in this thing WhatsApp, because my what to say, this thing is spoiled. Speaker is spoiled, so I'm literally trying to make out.
Rashmi has shown, I think.
Okay. Yes, sir. One second. By the
Yes.
way, sorry for being clumsy, sir. I just installed this program yesterday. I'm
No,
learning.
no, slowly you will learn, no problem. Now you again write down crop dot data.
Yes, sir.
Then again the field, sorry,
Hello?
dollar.
Yes, sir.
Then you select fertilizer.
Yes, sir.
Then enter. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So how do you interpret this data?
So here the mean is almost in the same level. So there is no like significant variation in the mean of the different groups, sir. Hello.
But you have shown this 1A ANOVA, 3 groups are significantly different. And by using that box plot, you are telling they are not different. How is it possible?
Yes, sir. Used to be now, yes, sir.
Eh?
Yes, sir.
Why do you say that is mean difference is not there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you, you write down apply, tap line, T apply.
So, ma'am, could you please write down in the, I'm so sorry. Paper is broken. I'm so sorry. Could you please write down in the?
Yeah, I just wrote it in the WhatsApp. This one. So,
So snippet.
Bracket,
Yes, sir. Do you apply bracket?
bracket crop data dollar yield
Dollar.
yield.
Yield.
Then comma crop dot data dollar fertilizer. Then enter.
Yes.
Oh, then comma crop dot dollar fertilizer comma mean
Yes, sir.
comma mean MEAN
Comma mean.
mean.
Hello.
yes, sir, mean, MEN, it's all right.
Mean. Yes, sir.
Then enter. After the bracket, enter. But
After seeing that, I don't.
meanটা বুঝতে পারলাম না।
Hello.
Acha, arguments must have the same length.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you write down mean.
Hello.
MEAN mean.
Hello.
So you write down mean, MEAN.
Yes, sir. One second. Mean. Yes, sir.
Bracket crop dot data dollar yield yield.
Yes, sir.
Then box bracket.
Yes, I'm doing it. Yes, sir.
After the P, you will get the box bracket. Huh? Within the box bracket, you write down crop dot data fertilizer. Crop dot data fertilizer, sorry, data dollar fertilizer
Yes, sir.
equal to
1 second.
2 times equal to sign,
Yes, sir.
1, then enter.
Yes, sir.
Got it? So it is 176.76. So now you have to show that is the when the fertilizer type is 2, then what will be the crop? You copy it. Hello. So you can calculate in the same manner the standard deviation also. Okay, Navneet. Yeah.
Okay, he's finished. No?
Incomplete. Ankita, have you followed? Anupama, Hafizu, Rashmi?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are following.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir's Wi-Fi is not working properly. He has messaged.
Okay, okay, okay.
So we can start with.
Okay, now I can request Rashmi. Rashmi, please, you can start.
Yes, sir, just a minute.
Rashmi, health psychology.
Yes. Yes.
Is this correct? এটা দেখা যায় professional.
Is the screen visible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. So, a very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rashmirika Samal. I'm a second-year research scholar at Center for Health Psychology, University of Hyderabad. So, here we are in the 5-day workshop for rating scale design and analysis using RStudio, organized by Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. And since we had to present how we use statistical analysis in R, I chose a very simple study for it. I used my own data set for this study. So the study variables here are attachment styles. We have 3 kinds of attachment styles here: secure, anxious, and avoidant attachment style. And my dependent variable here is the marital satisfaction. So as I mentioned, I chose a very simple study for this. So the objective here is to find the relationship between attachment style and marital satisfaction. And for this, I'll be using statistical analysis, is Pearson correlation. As we all know, correlation basically is used to find relationship between 2 variables, and correlation can be either positive or negative. When it is a positive relationship, then when there is an increase or decrease in one variable, there is also an increase in the other variable. Similarly, when there is a negative correlation, decrease in one variable will lead to increase in other variable and vice versa. So correlation, the relationship is the magnitude of the relationship that we measure in a correlation is called a correlation coefficient, which in correlation ranges from +1 to -1. The +1 refers to a positive perfect correlation, and -1 refers to the positive negative correlation. And correlation is of 2 types: Spearman correlation and Pearson correlation. Spearman correlation is used for non-parametric statistics, whereas Pearson correlation is used for the parametric statistics. And in this study, I have used interval scale. So therefore, I have taken the Pearson correlation. Since I have used my own data set, here I'm just going to explain what are the variables. So there are total 78 observation, that is 78 participants are taken. And here SAM refers to a measurement scale, which I'll not be discussing here. But ANX is anxious attachment style, AVO is avoidant, and SEC is secure attachment style. And EMS again is a scale that I used, but here it represents marital satisfaction. This is what I have used the command to enter my data set in the RStudio. I'm not a very confident user of RStudio, and this is the first time I'm using it. So in a limited time, I had to do this. So I know I need to learn a lot. I need to revise also whatever we have been taught till now. But I hope that this is the best I could try. So here you can see that I put the command as COR, which is for correlation, and my data set was ISI correlation, which I have saved my file as. So I could get the correlationship between all the variables. And but one thing that was missing here was the p-value. I tried using Google and the books that Sir provided to look for how to calculate correlation again, but I failed to do so. And when I was trying some other commands, I was getting the error code repeatedly. So what I did instead, to get the p-value of the data set, I used the correlation test to measure relationship just between two variables. So what I used here is since my dependent variable is marital satisfaction, and I want to see the attachment style relationship with the marital satisfaction. So I have taken just two variables. So one is how anxious attachment style is related to marital satisfaction. So as you can see, I got the p-value here, which is 0.5, which shows that it's a significant relationship. And the correlation.
No, it is not significant. P-value is 0.52, not significant.
Sorry, sir. Yes, sir. And as you can see here, the correlation is minus 0.07, which shows that the anxious attachment style is negatively correlated with the marital satisfaction. Similarly, in avoidant attachment style, it is also negatively correlated with the marital satisfaction. And in secure attachment style, we found that it is positively correlated with the marital satisfaction with a p-value of 0.01, which is significant. Before I end my presentation, I would like to extend my gratitude to Professor Devdulal Datta Roy and the coordinator Ruchira and to ISI Kolkata for organizing this workshop, because as a PhD student, this has been a very enriching experience. And I wouldn't say I have understood all the concepts, but I have tried. And it's a great opportunity, and I'm very thankful for the YouTube feature and sharing of the slides and all the presentations that was taken by the other teachers. So that I could revise it again. So this was my short presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rashmi. Very nice presentation.
Yes, sir. So I'm just figuring out how to stop the share. 1 minute. Yes, got it. Yes, sir.
Please carry forward my best wishes to your department head. Who is your department head here?
Sir, Dr. Padmaja Gadiraju.
Yeah, I think she knows me, because once upon a time I taught statistics in your department.
Okay, sir. I wasn't aware about it.
Hmm. Before that, there was actually who founded your department?
Dr. Meena Hariharan, sir.
Yes, yes. Madam knows me very well.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you, Rashmi.
Yes.
Now, Ankita.
Yes. Sir. So, good afternoon to all. Let me share my screen first. So, I hope my slides are visible, right?
Yeah, it is visible.
So, hello all, I am Ankita Dev, working as a statistician at the National Institute of Tuberculosis and Respiratory Diseases in New Delhi. The workshop is here. We are we have gathered and we are presenting in the 5 days workshop on rating scale design and analysis of using RStudio. So for this presentation, I have chosen a simple topic of presentation on data analysis using RStudio. So for this, I have used one inbuilt data set in R, which is called MTCars. I have put the description of the data in the next slide, and I have identified dependent and independent variables. So for understanding the dependent variable, I have used some graphics. Next, I have used one-way and two-way ANOVA for analysis and the simple linear regression. And finally, I have put some comments on the summary and conclusion. So let's start with the MTCars data, which you can find in the datasets library, which is always inbuilt in the RStudio. If you are using the latest R version, then it's probably MTCars data is already attached to your library. So just data MTCars gives you the data attached to the library. So this is the description of the data. The data was extracted from the 1974 Motor Trend US magazine and comprises fuel consumption and 10 aspects of automobile design and performance for 32 automobiles. Now, these are the variables which the data set contains, a data frame with 32 observations on 11 numeric variables. So you can see the MPG, miles per gallon, CYL, number of cylinders, DISP, displacement, HP, gross horsepower, and so on. So let's move into the description of the data. So summary MTCars gives you the description of the data, the descriptive statistics related to each of the variables in the data, the minimum, the maximum, the first quartile, third quartile, median, and mean. So from the description itself, we can see some of the variables are categorical and some of the variables are, most of the variables are continuous. So the next thing is identifying the independent and dependent variables. First of all, in the list, you can see the first variable gives you the MPG, miles per gallon. This is a measurement related to the fuel efficiency. So fuel efficiency is the dependent variable here, and independent rest of the variables can be considered as independent variables, like weight of the variable, transmission type, engine size, shape, etc. So first of all, understanding the dependent variable with the normal distribution, normal QQ plot, box plot, and histogram. So in the right panel, you can see the box plot of only the dependent variable, not depending on the scales, categories of the independent variable. Just for the MPG variable, I have drawn the box plot. But if you want to look at the different box plots depending on the transmission type and depending on the size of the machine, you can see this plot. So we can see that the fuel efficiency differs between the transmission types. AM is the variable. I'm going back to the list where it is written. AM is the variable transmission, whether it is an automatic transmission or manual transmission. So based on these two transmission type, whether MPG or fuel efficiency differs or not. So in this box plot, we can see that the median line changes over the type of transmission. So we can say that the MPG or the fuel efficiency changes with the transmission type. So visually we can say that. So going back to the slide, next we have, I have actually drawn the MPG histogram also. So this also gives you the more or less normal distribution, but a little positively skewed, we can say. And the normal QQ plot, majority of the points are lying on the line, linear. Overall, the distribution of the points are linear. So we can say this is moderately normally distributed variable, MPG. So let us next look at the correlation plots of the variables. So this is done by the code pairs MTCars. In this MTCar data set, we have 11 variables, and this plot gives you the each and every correlation plot with each and every variable. So MPG is related to DISP variable in a negatively correlated manner. So next is the one-way ANOVA. Now let's start with the process by running a one-way ANOVA on MPG being dependent on the AM. Now, how am I sure about the dependence on AM? Well, we have seen it in the box plot also, that transmission type depends, the fuel efficiency depends on the transmission type. So we have used that variable to show, to display, to demonstrate the one-way ANOVA. So first of all, fit AOV gives you the ANOVA testing of MPG tilde AM. It means MPG is dependent on AM, the transmission type. So this gives you the summary fit, the summary results of the ANOVA test. And here we can see that the degrees of freedom is 1. Since AM takes 2 categories and the degrees of freedom is 2 minus 1, 1 for AM. And the p-value is significant for AM to MPG. So what will be the interpretation? The interpretation will be there is significant differences in fuel efficiency with respect to automatic or manual transmission. So it is evident from, it was evident from the visual graphics we have seen from the box plot, and also we have tested it through a one-way ANOVA. Next is the two-way ANOVA. We can now try it is 2 variables. So we can now try 2 variables and look at a two-way ANOVA with MPG to AM and VS. So this gives you the after center. So this gives you MPG dependent on AM plus VS. Now let's look at the list of variables, what the VS suggests. VS is the engine shape, whether it is V-shaped or straight. So now we are going to look at the impact of VS on the fuel efficiency through two-way ANOVA. So the summary fit gives us the result as significantly, there are significant differences. So here we can see the different degrees of freedom are 1 for each of the AM and VS variable. So A values are 33.24 and 30.14, which makes our P values significant for AM and VS to MPG. So what will be the interpretation in layman's language? The fuel efficiency differs significantly both on the transmission type and shape of the engine. So if we go back to box plot of MPG on the VS, the box plot also shows that there is some significant difference between the two median line. So it is supported by the two-way ANOVA test. So next, we are going to look at the scatter plot of dependent versus independent variable. So we have selected the weight of the vehicle as the independent variable here. So the dependent variable remains the same as fuel efficiency. So we are interested in the relationship between fuel efficiency and weight. So we may start plotting those variables with plot function in the R. So we can see the scatter plot shows the MPG and weight are linearly related and negatively correlated also. So the slope is negative. So let's try to look at the linear regression analysis using these two variables. So the R code for linear regression analysis is LM, and MPG is our dependent variable. It is regressed upon, that is tilde, weight. So weight is the independent variable, a single independent variable, and we are going to gauge the contribution or the impact of weight on MPG. So there is one dependent variable and there is only one independent variable. So in this simplest situation, we call it linear regression, simple linear regression. So if we have more than one more than one independent variables, then we call it multiple linear regression. I have not included the multiple linear regression analysis here, but we can extend it too. So this gives you the summary fit, the results of the simple linear regression analysis done on this data set. And we can see that the intercept term is 37.28 and the weight, the estimate of the regression coefficient related to the weight variable is minus 5.34. Gives you the information about the correlation between MPG and weight also. So we can see the negative estimate gives you the, we can see the estimate is negative. So we can call that MPG is negatively correlated with weight. So as the weight of the vehicle increases, the fuel efficiency decreases. So both of the p-values are significant. E to the power minus 10 and e to the power minus 16 means 10 to the power minus 10. So these are very small values, definitely less than 0.05. Now this is the scatter plot of fuel efficiency versus weight in the empty cars data, and the green line is the predicted line. So after doing the linear regression analysis, the results provides the following information. So the estimated slope of each coefficient, weight and the y-intercept, which suggests the best fit prediction of MPG, is 37.28 plus that coefficient minus 5.3 into weight. The p-value of each coefficient, which suggests that the intercept and weight are probably not due to chance. Overall estimates of fit, such as R-square and adjusted R-square, which show how much of the variation in MPG is explained by the model. So we can add that green line by this code in our AB line fit. So this is the code, and this is the summary and conclusion. So we have done the data analysis using the inbuilt dataset empty cars. Fuel efficiency was expressed as miles per gallon of fuel. So this was our dependent variable. Difference in MPG can be seen in transmission type and shape of the engine, as was evident by the box plots and also by the one-way and two-way ANOVA and linear regression analysis. Fuel efficiency depends on the weight of the vehicle, as we have seen from the results of linear regression analysis. If weight increases, the fuel efficiency decreases. So I'll end this presentation by the quote of Professor P.C. Mahalanobis: statistics must have a clearly defined purpose, one aspect of which is scientific advancement and the other human welfare and national development. So the picture gives you, picture shows that Professor Mahalanobis with his wife and Rabindranath Tagore. So thank you all for listening to my presentation. Thank you.
Beautiful presentation, Ankita. Beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice presentation. And your demonstration also good.
Thank you, sir.
And you have used several art script. This is good one.
Thank you.
Now, Sir Hipsu Rahman will be presenting. So he has sent us his PPT. So we'll just download it.
Hello, very good afternoon, sir. I hope the screen will be visible.
Oh, yes, yes, sir, it's visible.
I could be able to. I was trying to do it.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Actually, what I thought to be present that it was my learning and reflections from the workshop. So I designed it in this way. I think it will be totally different from the other participants because there is no such activities or exercises which I have performed. So whatever it is, I'm trying to present it. I hope I am audible.
Yes, you are audible and with lot of noise. So please you control the noise.
That's why I'm unable to minimize it. Okay. Sorry, sir, because the environment where I'm here, surrounding is little noisy. So please.
No, from where you are presenting?
Actually, I'm presenting it from a community center. So I hope now it will be little noise free.
No, it is not clear what is learning and what you have written. That
Learning and
is not
reflections.
clear. Make it relatively small. Oh,
Learning and reflections from the workshop.
okay.
Yeah. The content is what was my thought process while applying for the workshop. And the second is my learnings. And third is how the knowledge gained from this workshop will be implemented in my future research. And finally, a humble request, which will be discussed. My thought process while applying and before the workshop. When I came to know about this workshop, I felt like that my dream is going to be fulfilled. As I was always willing to learn statistical methods from the professors of ISI. But my professor has already taught us that ISI is one of the best center of the statistics in the world. Then the concept of multivariate analysis and rating scale design analysis was very close to my heart, which was the theme of because I have applied these techniques in my earlier projects, but not having much clarity because I have just applied. Some seniors told apply this method, and I applied mechanically without having the depth understanding of what is item, what is the difficulty, what is different things. I was not having much clarity, and even I published papers also on that. So that part. But when I came to know about it will be only in online mode, I was little disappointed. I discussed with Ruchira also. But now I'm happy that it was highly interactive and engaging. And professors were all, well, even I was interrupting them in like a childish way, but they were always happy and responding the doubts very passionately. My learnings. I learned different kinds of rating scales, which Ruchira taught in the first class. Then learned even what are the advantages and disadvantages of different rating scale. And the main thing is the item response theory taught by Dr. Samuna Datta. Because I have already applied in one of my project, but not having clarity, and so that lecture was a very kind of revealing for me because the thing which I have done and I was not knowing about it. And moreover, the next lectures on that multivariate modeling on that item analysis and the R software because it is free and I was not knowing about it because I was working on Stata. And some of the people already told me, why are you using this data? Because it is a paid software. Until you are working in an organization where it is purchased, then only you will be able to do. When you go outside somewhere in the organization where they are not having data, you will be disabled. So in that sense, what I was thinking from since some time back, I will learn R, but not getting time. Now I got this time to learn R. And there was the practice assignment also helped. Moreover, the guy sir taught ANOVA and MANOVA with the sir was having only 6 slides, and he taught us for 2 hours with the examples, with our thoughts, discussion. Lot of that was a great way of learning as well as I will apply in my teaching also. he had given a very touchy examples. And now to how to apply this, because the learning is only complete when you apply it. I will try to use RStudio in my research, and I will use this item response theory again in some of my upcoming research. And now I will present all the graphs which item difficulty and the different Dr. Sumuna which taught. Even I would like to be in touch with her with the permission of the organizer if we would like to work in the collaboration on this issue. And the multivariate method, I was not having an idea about variate and variable. The very basics. Sir told you variable is the different thing. Variate when we add weights to the variables in a linear way, then it's called variate and multivariate. I'm really thankful to you all. So a humble request, please keep conducting such workshops. And thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Hafizur Rahman. Very nice presentation. I have attended several workshops and many programs, but this type of presentation I have not seen. But this is also a presentation. It's a very good one. And actually, this is the feedback that we want from all the students. This is the feedback. This is very vital.
So please keep conducting such workshop, and I would request to the organizer if I can be in touch with the esteemed faculties so that I can learn whenever I have doubts, I have discussed, because they were very passionate. I was disturbing them like a child, and they were not annoying. They were feeling happy. Then they were feeling that kind of happy. They were really kind of super teacher. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Nice comment.
Thank you so much.
Now, Anupama Ghosh.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to start by just sharing my gratitude for this entire workshop. It was a very, very needful workshop for me because I am anyway a little bit afraid of statistics always, and RStudio was something that I needed to learn from a long time. So thank you for giving this opportunity and also for providing the materials to us and the YouTube links which we can use whenever we need. While doing this only, I was just going back to all the previous lectures and going through them. So thank you for that opportunity that we can go back to the lectures and keep on attending them whenever we need. And now for the current presentation, I have just used this as an opportunity to try and do one simple analysis in R. Now, sir, please guide me if I've gone wrong anywhere, because this is my first time using R, and so I'm a little bit skeptical and afraid while presenting. So please guide me. Okay, so coming to the starting. As I did not have any data set available with me, I used the IRIS data set, which is available in RStudio. So there the species is mentioned, and then the sepal width, sepal length, petal width, and petal length is mentioned. So I used the sepal width to be specific because I did one ANOVA. And in the species, the Iris setosa, Iris versicolor, and Iris virginica, 3 of the species were mentioned. So the null hypothesis was that the sepal widths do not differ among the species, and the alternative hypothesis was that the sepal widths do differ among the different species. Now, as we know that the independent variable should be categorical, which it is, and the dependent variable is continuous. Okay. So before we run the ANOVA, we have to test the assumptions for the current data set, whether it is meeting with the assumptions of ANOVA. So I used Shapiro-Wilk to test the normality, and it came, and the result suggested that the data is normally distributed, and the command is actually highlighted here in blue, Shapiro.test sepal width. Okay. Now the next assumption that we had to test was testing the equality of variances, which I did using Levin's test. And for this, I actually learned a little bit more because I was also using the books and the materials which were provided to us. So I learned that I had to download the library card, and so I learned that also, that bit, and learned how to do the Levens test. So here the data suggests that the variances are equal because the p-value is greater than 0.05. So this basically shows us the way that we can do one-way ANOVA with the current data set. So that is what I proceeded to do next. So this is the ANOVA and the command and the summary. And I've actually interpreted the data later in another slide. So what I've done after doing the ANOVA analysis, because when we do one-way ANOVA, we need to understand, because this just gives us an idea whether the groups differ or not, but to understand in a greater depth how exactly the groups differ and which groups differ among themselves, we have to do any of the post hoc analysis. So I did that using Taki test, for which I used this command. And this also shows which of the groups differ among each other. Yeah. So from the results, we can see that the alternative hypothesis is accepted because the p-values indicate that the groups are differing, and the Taki tests indicate that versicolor setosa, these two species differ among each other significantly with respect to the sepal weight. Virginica setosa, they also differ with each other with respect to the sepal weight, and Virginica versicolor, they also differ from each other. And then I just tried to follow ma'am's lectures and just try to plot it in the box plot. So this shows us that there are differences in the means of the three species with respect to the sepal weight. And thank you for my presentation. This was just a very novice and a very immature attempt at doing our analysis, but thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Anupama. Very nicely, very lucidly you have presented. Everything is fine, but you have not interpreted your box plot. You have
Yes, sir.
told the mean differences are there, but you have not interpreted the mean differences.
Yes. Okay. I will include that in the slide. And also conceptually, I need to go through that once again. So I will do that and include that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So now I am requesting Ruchira for any announcement. Ruchira.
Okay, so that's all for now. Then you all can come back at 4 p.m. and we'll have the validity session, and the certificates will be distributed virtually. And then I'll mail it to you to your respective mail IDs. Okay. So if you are available, then please come at 4 p.m. It will just take 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you. End code.
কেন?
End code.
তো এই সেশনটা তো একটা ভোল্ড করতে হবে।